She's going in today, boys. So far, all I did, I got the IAG Competition Series engine mounts on. Just reused the stock brackets. I think that's how you do all of them, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, it's on.
Yep.
The way these engine mounts sit, they're like the studs off-centered, and I don't remember how the factory one sat, if it was facing the front of the engine or the back. So I just took a 50-50 gamble here and threw them both facing the front of the engine. We're gonna find out as soon as we go to put the engine in. But I'm gonna be doing this a little bit different this time. I'm gonna be putting the transmission on the engine out of the car and getting the clutch, flywheel, everything like that on. So that's probably what this video is gonna be titled, maybe putting the clutch and flywheel on and then getting the engine and transmission in the car. But I'm gonna bolt the transmission to the engine out of the car and then try and drop it in. I think it'll be easier that way, and I think we're not gonna scratch as much shit. I got this like leveling piece on our engine crane here, so hopefully that'll help kind of tilt the engine and transmission down when we go to drop it in. Oh yeah, and Colton's helped me get the engine in today so I don't scratch the shit out of my engine bay.
Yeah, word.
All right, so we got the engine on the ground now. I'm gonna do the flywheel first. Wait, no, I can't even put on the flywheel. I gotta put the pilot bearing in the flywheel first. I am still running the stock flywheel. I got mine machined, so I gotta swap the pilot bearing with the new one. I'm just gonna take a 24 mil socket because it fits like perfectly around it, and I'm just gonna tap it in there. I don't have a hammer, so this is the only one. We were pounding fence posts, so this is the only hammer I got. I'm just gonna get it, I think, till it's flush with this side. I don't really remember what the old one looked like, but I'm gonna just set it in even. Get the socket on there straight. Guess I can't really go on crooked. Oh, it's going. I don't wanna go too far. It's supposed to be even with this side or even with the back side?
I don't fucking know.
I should probably search that up.
Yeah.
These are supposed to be tutorials and I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, well that's even with this side. Let's Google it. All right, so yeah, put it like hammer it in with the 24 mil and get it like level with the front face of the flywheel. So I got mine pretty level. It feels the same all the way around. So we're gonna go put this on now. Let's go. Get her on the back plate there. I guess I can't really set it here until I have the bolts. It shouldn't fall out. Think it's gonna fall?
I don't know. We'll find out.
All right, so the manual doesn't say to put any type of Loctite or anything on your flywheel bolts, so I'm not going to. And I'll give you guys the little torque pattern right there. They all get tightened to 55.3 foot-pounds, and you do it in the order that it shows there. So let's get all the flywheel bolts in there and get them torqued up. Okay, there we go, flywheel's on. Like I said, they're all torqued to 55.3 foot-pounds. Pilot bearings in. I got Colton to hold the crank pulley on the other end so that I could torque them, just so that it doesn't just rotate in a circle. Crank pulley is just a 22 mil and then get a 1/2-inch ratchet and hold it. Another thing I forgot to mention, I got my Torque Solutions air pump block-off plates bolted on. That's such a small thing. I wasn't even gonna include that in a video, but they're on there. So now let's get the clutch disc on there and the flywheel. Or wait, I already have. Let's get the clutch disc on there and the pressure plate.
I was gonna say there's something not right about that sentence.
Another thing with the flywheel, if you get a brand new flywheel, make sure you spray the surface down with brake clean and wipe it off just to get that coating off that they put on there to prevent it from rusting. Because I got my flywheel machine, and as you can see, it's been sitting a while. There's a little bit of rust buildup on it, so I cleaned it all up, made sure it's squeaky clean. Okay, when you put the clutch in, make sure you put it in the right way. I know from experience, we don't talk about that. If you put it in backwards, you won't be able to disengage your clutch and you won't be able to get it into gear, so you'll have to pull the motor again. So the big end, or where the, I don't even know how you describe it. The end where the springs don't stick out as much goes against the flywheel. Because if you put the end that the springs stick out more, they will just lock up on your flywheel bolts and it's bad news. So take your alignment tool, just shove it into your clutch disc. And you're just gonna put the tip of it right into the pilot bearing on your flywheel. And then push your clutch level and she'll stay like that. Well, maybe not. I think it's because the engine crane is like slanted. If I go like this, stay, there we go. Sick. All right, next thing we're gonna do is get the pressure plate on. Again, like I said before, take some brake clean, spray it on a clean rag and wipe that coating off of the pressure plate surface.
What if you forget to clean it off?
I think it'd be just like brakes. Like if you don't clean your rotors off, I think it would just maybe smoke a bit and then it would wear it off eventually. It probably wouldn't be that bad, but let's just prevent having any smoke. So yeah, there should be dowel pins on your flywheel. I don't have the bolts in my hand yet, but all right, we're just gonna put the bolts in and then pull it in. It's not sliding onto the dowel super easy for some reason. So I'm just gonna thread these bolts in and then pull it in with each bolt. Why is it so rough? Maybe this is a little bit more aggressive of a clutch, so maybe the fins on the fucking pressure plate are stronger. I have no idea. All right, we're just gonna do it that way. Suck it in. All right, let's pull it in with the bolts. You shit? Yeah. Oh my God. It sounded wet. Fuck it. Woo.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, my legs!
Okay, you gotta torque them all to 11.8 foot-pounds. Just do it in like a star order. Just go crisscross. There's no specific like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just go in a star. All right, that's how you put a clutch on. Now you can just take your alignment tool and just whip it out of there. This should be good to go. Let's get this tranny bolted up. Before we get the engine and tranny bolted up together, you actually gotta come in here and lube up your input shaft a little bit and grease your clutch fork so that it slides nice and free. And I gotta get my throwout bearing on there still. First thing, you gotta take this plug out of the side of the transmission over here. You just take a little M6 bolt, thread it into the end of the fork there, and then I'm just gonna pull it by hand if I can. Might need a pry bar. Ah, there we go. Clutch pin's out and the fork should be loose. So now I am going to get our clutch grease that came with a clutch, wherever it is. This is like actual clutch lubricant, so we're gonna use this. I'm just gonna grease up my fork pin, get a whole bunch on there. Just rub it in with your hands. The whole pin lubed up nice. Take your clutch fork, slide it in from the bottom. Then this pin has a slot in it that's gonna meet up to this dowel on this side. So you just gotta rotate it once it gets in. Put this in there, put in your lubed up clutch fork pin and rotate it till that dowel goes into that piece there. Throwout bearing, you're gonna wanna put a little bit of lube on your finger first, and then you're gonna lube up the contact points that it sits on. Don't put too much because obviously as your clutch wears out, there's gonna be a shit ton of dust. And if the dust collects on there, then it's just gonna cause problems in the future. So don't put too much on there. And then put a little bit of it on your input shaft and where it slides into the pilot bearing. Then I'm going to put the rest inside of here. And then your throwout bearing goes in facing, oh, I'm an idiot. Why'd I put the fork in first? I'm dumb. Okay, don't put the pin in before you put the throwout bearing in, because you gotta put your throwout bearing in and you gotta slide throwout bearing into there. Then you can put the pin in and turn it. Come on, there we go. Mint, make sure it moves back and forth good. And your throwout bearing always goes with these teeth on the side that it hooks up to, facing the front, so that when you're disengaging the clutch, it has the full contact surface at the back to pull it back. And so that this can lock into your pressure plate at the back. Let's get this bitch bolted up. Yeah, you might need your help though.
This is something I'll do next weekend with you.
No man, we're doing it
I'm not
tonight.
doing it tonight.
I don't think so. YouTube's gonna know how grumpy the dad I got.
Fucking Sunday night at 11 o'clock.
I don't sleep. Trying to get this car running. All right, so we're just getting like mentally prepared to put this in.
By ourselves.
With only 2 people, I'll show the engine bay what I did. We got the hockey jersey going at the back there, covering the tunnel. We got all the sheets covering the paint job in the front. Power steering's held to the side. My steering linkage is still in there, but everything should be clear to just kind of drop this in and set it there. And then I can start to assemble everything around it. That'll probably be in another video because this is gonna be way too long because this is gonna take forever. Honestly, this is gonna be way too hard to film this. So we're just gonna set this up on a time lapse. First thing I gotta do is get the bolts on the hood changed to the second 2 bolts so that the hood sits higher so that we have as much clearance as we can when we go to put it in. So yeah, let's set this thing up on a time lapse and let's get at it, I guess. Holy shit. I don't even, that looks so sick. This is what I wanted to see. Empty engine bay, bare engine. That took absolutely forever to get in because you know how before where I said I didn't remember which way the engine mounts went and it was a 50-50 chance if we got it right.
We got it wrong.
I flipped them around in the car, which sucked because I had to get my dad and Colton to like lift the engine up, and then I had to go under there with like an extension and a swivel socket and shit, and then unbolt them, flip them around, bolt them back up, and then we got the engine in. Because if you put them in backwards, there's actually the nut on the one side of the bushing on the mount hits the subframe, and then the engine just sits on that nut, and the studs won't come through the holes on the subframe to put the bolts in. So yeah, long story short, just don't put the engine mounts in backwards. So which way did they go in the end?
So we had them facing towards the front of the engine before, right? And then we had to flip them around so they were facing towards the back.
Facing towards the back, I think.
Because
I don't know. I'm gonna go under and show real quick. Okay, so if you look at the mount at the bottom, you see how the nut side of the IAG Competition Series mount is facing the front of the car. This is the front of the car here. Yeah, if you put the nuts at the back, the nuts just hit the subframe and the stud for the engine mount will not go through the hole. So make sure you got the nuts facing the front on both mounts and you'll be good to go. So yeah, if we didn't run into that little hiccup there with having the engine mounts backwards, honestly, that would have been like a 15-20 minute thing, dropping that in and getting the 2 engine mount bolts in. Right now, I don't have any of the transmission mounts on. I just have the transmission on blocks at the back, just supporting it. And one thing I forgot to mention when you install your clutch was your clutch fork will actually be sitting here loose and it won't be engaged. All you need to do to engage the throwout bearing into the pressure plate is just push that clutch fork back and it should grab. And then it'll be solid and it'll grab, and then you can hook up your slave cylinder and everything like that. But in this video, I'm not gonna keep putting everything together because it's gonna turn into like a 45-minute video of me putting this engine together. Another thing that I forgot to mention was what clutch I'm running on this car and what clutch you just watched me put in. Here's the part number for it. It is the ACT Xtreme Series. Here's the part number. It's the SP10 XTSS. It's rated to like 600 and some foot-pounds of torque, so it should handle the power we're trying to put down for sure, and hopefully take a huge beating because I love to launch this thing. I do it all the time. It's like the most fun part about owning a Subaru. And the reason I have the transmission sitting on blocks right now is because I got lots of plans for a lot of upcoming videos, and I did get some Cobb shifter bushings for this, so I'll be making lots of videos on installing shifter bushings, transmission mounts, everything like that. For now, like I said, I just wanted to get the engine in the car because I just wanted to see this, like the bare engine bay, just the engine and transmission in there. It looks so good. And another thing I still have to tighten is that plug that goes on the side of the transmission that covers the pin for the clutch fork. I just left the Allen key for it at work. I think it's like a 14 mil Allen key, so I can't tighten it right now, but again, I will in the future. So yeah, honestly, I think this is where I'm gonna end the video. Huge shout out to Colton for helping, and my dad swung in last second and operated the engine crane for us. He was drinking beers, relaxing the whole time anyways. I don't want to say he didn't help much, but light work, Dad. You had the light work. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching this, I'm so excited to get this thing on the road. Make sure you guys stay tuned because I'm gonna be going hard on this thing, getting it together for like the next month. I'm hoping to put out videos every week, but sometimes work and life gets in the way of things, so I'm trying my best here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you end up having as big of a smile on your face as I do seeing this engine in this car. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. I will catch you in the next one.